Oh, looking at the wrong one.
All right, any questions here? So these are the correct ways to draw AOA and AON ways for the first 4 cases. If you're all good with that, we're going to continue with the other 3 cases over there. So when you work through it, you realize that one way to check the correctness when you draw diagrams is to infer the table out of the plot. So for example, since in the shared lab notes, you find that the case 3 has a table so that on the last row, we have activity E, and it has both activity B and C as the predecessor. So if you go back to, if we use this plot, we can infer that it's true, so it's correct. But if you draw a plot, that from your plot, you do not see that B and C happens both before activity E, then it'll be somewhere you need to correct. Any questions regarding if you are uncertain with the way that your neighbor's team is drawing, you're not sure whether it's correct or not? Yeah, these are all the correct ways that I can think of. I know that we all have the creativity, and I may have missed some. Okay, now I think you're all good with the first 4 cases, right? Now let's continue with the other 3 cases. Okay, case 5.
I have to take off my phone part.
Actually, no. You're right.
Okay. Are you all good with the first 4 cases? Any questions? Okay, now I'll start case 5. In the beginning, we see some very similar structures. We have activity A as the first, connecting to both B and C, just like what we did in many of the previous cases. Afterward, from the table, we see that D comes after B, and there's also an activity E. So in this case, we need to find a way to correctly represent what's in the table. And in the table, we find that activity E has both C and D as predecessor. So we need to also take that into account. And what's slightly tricky is that activity F has only D as the predecessor. So let's see how we can achieve that. It's okay to start drawing using trial and error. You may not achieve the correct answer in one step. So it's okay to adjust and erase some part and add some part later on. So from this starting point, after D, we should work on activity E. So this needs to come somehow after both C and D. So I will place that, somewhere here. But after that, we also need to factor in that the activity F has only D as the predecessor. So after that, it means that after this node, it needs to have an F over there. But at the same time, we need to connect both C and D to an activity that's E. So in this case, I would have to create both a dummy arrow and also a dummy node. So in this way, that's how I can have E to include both C and D as the predecessor. At the same time, this activity F only has D as the predecessor. Let me make it larger so it appears more apparent. This is E, and well, this is the way you can make the AOA diagram to exactly represent the table. As you can see, you may need some trial and error in the beginning to ensure that each of the activity corresponds to the requirement in the table. Any questions here? Okay, what's up?
And that node under 4E.
Uh-huh.
What's that actually?
This is a dummy activity, so there's no activity. Oh, wait.
C and D have dummy activities.
Ah, that's fine. Sorry. Apparently, I think we don't need that, right? Sorry, apparently I made a mistake. Yeah, thank you for pointing that out. All right, so here you go. That's it. So if you need to make that somewhat more beautiful, so we maintain the it is here, then you would go this way. Now this is correct. So as you can see, once you create any dummy nodes or arrows, it's also good to check whether it's necessary or not. The way I made it, it's not technically incorrect, but it's not ideal either. So we'd better erase the dummy node I created before, since we don't need it. All right, let's go with the arrow on node way. Any questions? Okay. So the beginnings should be apparent. We have the very similar structure to start with. After that, we need to factor in that D comes after activity B, right? And after that, we also have E to connect both C and D. So this E should come somewhere like here. And this way, these are both connected. And after that, D goes to F, but E doesn't. So we need to create an activity that's F. And at this point, it appears there's no apparent finishing activity. So we don't know whether the activity ends at F or E, right? That's why we need to create a node that's marked finishing point. And I'll do it right away like this. Finishing point. Yeah. Any questions here? So the scenario where we do need to create a node that's marked finish is when we do not have apparent signal, so we cannot tell whether the ending activities, which of the ending activities, if there are two or more to be used as the finishing point. Hello guys. If you have questions, raise your hand. Otherwise, it might be too noisy for your neighbors.
Yeah.
All right, case 6. Well, this has, let's see, 6 points for each of the plot. So 12 together. And case 6 starts from also again very similar structure. So I'll just draw it directly. And after that, we notice that we need to mark D to be a successor, a successor of activity B. And at the same time, E as a successor of activity C. So that'll be something like this. Because both of them should have F as the successor. And this would be the finishing line. So we have a splitting structure, then they converge again. Any questions here? And if we look back to the table, we notice that, for example, we start from the bottom line and work upwards to check whether this is done correctly. The last line in case 6, if you go to our shared lab notes, you notice that it'll be activity F using both D and E as the predecessor. So we look back to the plot that I just made. In this diagram, both D and E goes to a node that's before F. So we know this step is made correctly. And if we go to the row upward, that's activity E, we notice that activity C comes before activity E because that's its predecessor. And it's also correctly reflected on the plot. So the activity E is on the downstream of activity C. And using the same method, we can identify that the part about B and D is also done correctly. So that's how you can confirm once you get a plot or diagram, whether it is correct or not. Last plot, well, I still have the AON way to work with. So the AON way should be similar. D, this is C, and then this is E, and they both go to. So as you can see, for case 6, because F is the last activity right before the finishing point, so we do not need to create another node to represent the finishing point at this for case 6. Last case 7. We have 5 cases.
No, if not another.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Here, look at. Okay.
Any questions? So for the last case, we have BCD as the successor of activity A. And we need to create essentially 3 branches. However, we also notice that activity E uses all these BCD as the predecessor. So we need to create them together. And in the AON way, we have a rule that between one pair of nodes, there can be only at most one direct link between them. So we need to use one of these to have a direct link, but need to create 2 dummy nodes to break the link temporarily. So there's only one direct link between one pair of nodes. If I use this arrow representing activity C to provide a direct link.
Oh, we skipped.
Then I would have to create dummy nodes for activity B and D and dummy arrows afterwards. So this is the correct way to represent case 7. Notice that here in this structure, only between node 1 and 2, only activity C gives a direct link. But activity B and D, because it's broken by dummy nodes, so it's not violating any rules. That's how we can draw a structure when we seem to have multiple paths between two nodes. Then we need to create something like this. We need to add dummy nodes and dummy arrows. Any questions here? Okay. Great. So let's also review some incorrect ways. Maybe you will see in your neighbor's answers. So for example, if I created a plot that's like this, I tend to create all of them directly. For example, that's B, C, D, that would be E. That's the finishing point. This will be incorrect because we see 3 direct links between nodes 1 and 2. And if I included another node here, it'll be unnecessary. So we don't need a dummy node here because in this node I just created, there's only 1 direct link. All right, then for AON, it'll be something perhaps more straightforward and less room for errors. So when we create this structure, we need to make sure that they all end up in activity E. So that's how you create AON for case 7. Okay. Now I'm done with showing the diagrams. How about you? Any questions?
How many points is the last one?
Oh, good one. 5 times 2, because 5 is for each of the plot. We have 5 activities in this case. Now let's sum up. Let me know. Together we should see that there are 12, 17. The more and 33, so 66 points in total. And let me know how much your neighbor's answer sheet would provide. Do you have any team with a grade above 60? Any team with points more than 60? 55. Any team winning a point above 55? Do I have one there? Are you still tallying? Yeah, any question?
This wouldn't count for 7, right? I will go to here.
I would say this is not incorrect, but it's not necessary. We don't need so mark them to be effective, but people come to take away. Total would be 16 there. Do we have any with more than 16? Do we have I appreciate the. Oh, really? Sorry.
Sorry.
Thank you for fixing. I thought they were. Okay, I think we have the top scorer from Christian and the lady here. Great, welcome to me afterwards, so we can get the. All right, so you can return to me these weeks and at the end of this activity, I mean this lab. And you should also mark your names on the work sheet as graders. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just only like the. Oh, that's right. Okay. So, no, this is not. You have CD. Now let's work on some new problems. Oh, any question there? Ah. 66.
66 and. For each.
Okay. At this point, it doesn't really matter because we already have the winner team. So it'd be great if you mark the part that's not correct, that needs some correction. To the team. So for example, if they made a incorrect part here, you just say it's incorrect, then it's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
I was wondering, I thought you mentioned something about scoring it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's points here, but I just want to find the top scorer, so they.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Now
so,
it's down,
so
so.
it's not for like part of our grade.
No, it's
Okay.
not, but you should mark the incorrect parts, so your team understands. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right, please open up our shared lab notes to the section that's called project scheduling. And over there, you will find a very long table with similar structures as what we worked in these 7 cases. At the same time, beneath there are a few questions that we should complete. They are essentially practice about the PERT method for estimating the total duration of a project. Any question? Here.
You know what you could do?
Where,
Custom list.
when?
So now you should take out a piece of paper and work with your teammate. So you should work in teams of 2 and start working on the problem of project scheduling. First 2 steps is to draw the diagram. And after that, we need to identify the critical path in the plot. And after that, there's some calculation to do. I suggest you to use Excel to make these calculations because we have a somewhat moderate number of activities to work with. So it'll be faster if you calculate all the quantities in Excel. In groups. So work in groups of 2 and start working on the project scheduling section. Let me know if you have questions, raise your hands. Sorry?
Is this due?
Yeah, it should. But it may take longer than that, so let's see here. Yeah, so when you're working in teams, maybe one team member work on the AOA way, the other does it on the AON way, then you can hack each other. Any questions?
You want to draw the AON first? I feel like that. Yeah, I know, I think this is right. I want to say that. Just the one. After, I think it's. Yeah, you can't do it. Okay. And for my app. You go to that goes to each. Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, so then there is just something you can sell to estimate those things. Then J goes into K. So
So, you can have homework. And go that's section one, that's 2, 3. Calculator, calculate everything, but I don't think you do understand. You perform that would be stacked on operations.
You ever taken them like the summer over something?
Yeah, I'm also, I realize. For my schedule. So it's not actually, all you would have to take. No, it's just one.
How about also this?
These things change.
Ah, right.
Sorry.
One thing I realized is that this is the last lab session before your midterm, right? Okay. So now let's make some exception. I think it's better if we start going through this together rather than using more time for you to work on that, so that you know what are the correct answers before the midterm. So let me get started. For the plots, this would be the correct AON representation. Notice that we have three parts actually that are branches. So make sure when they're splitting, you got this 3 parts correct. And this would be the AOA representation. Notice here that I created 2 dummy arrows. So the one that's on the upper area is not technically incorrect, but it's also necessary to use another dummy node here. We don't need this dummy node. That's why the one on the lower part would be correct. And we have 2 branches. So in each, 3 actually. In each of them, it requires some dummy arrows. It has very similar structure with some of the cases we just worked on. So any questions in these plots? Except that this is just slightly longer. It doesn't appear to have any additional structures that we have not worked on. All right, after that, we need to identify the critical path, right? So this needs some calculation. First, we need to estimate the this is the AON way. Well, maybe you can borrow some of your photos afterwards. Okay, so if you need to calculate the estimated time and variance, the best way for a long table like this is to use Excel to calculate everything. Otherwise, you need to use a calculator and make each step to calculate everything. So for example, I copy and pasted the table right here. So you notice that this area is nothing new. I just copy and paste it. So I would mark the cell like this way. To identify the critical path, we need to make essentially 3 decisions. Here in this plot, we notice that either C, D, E should represent a critical path. So we need to calculate the estimated expectation of the time. Using the formula we learned from the our lecture. So we need to add the minimum plus 4 times the most likely plus the maximum, then divide the whole thing by 6. That's where you must use parentheses, okay? If you don't use parentheses, this calculation by division will be incorrect. So using the formula we learned from the lecture, we know how to calculate the expected duration of each individual activity. So here we need to make a decision between activity C, D, E, which should be on the critical path. We notice that C and D share the same expected duration. So we need to make a pick. For example, I would pick activity C as on the critical path, but not activity E or no, activity D or E. Similarly, we do a similar, we make a similar choice between H and I to find the longest activity and use that on the critical path. Here again, we notice that H and I share the same duration, so we need to make a choice. I would use activity I as on the critical, activity H on the critical path, but not activity I. So I mark them to be in this column called critical. The rows with a value on critical, that's 1, would be on the activity on the critical path. But if it has a value of 0, it's not on the critical path. And we do a similar choice between activity. Let's see. Oh my God. K and L. So we need to use the longest, longer one between these two on the critical path. So here I made a correct choice to use activity L on the critical path. So this is how you identify critical path. If there's any branching activities, you need to choose the longest one to be on the critical path. If it ever happens that there's a tie, so there are 2 or more activities with the same expected duration, you need to make a choice between them if they're on the same branch, if they're on the same branch. So after that, we need to calculate the sigma and the sigma squared. So we should actually calculate sigma squared, that's the variance first. Then we take a square root. That's what becomes sigma. Sigma square is calculated, well, sigma is calculated between the range divided by 6. Then we square it, it becomes sigma. Or you can calculate sigma squared directly by the range divided by 6, then take a square. Yeah. Then after that, the step we need to take is to calculate the entire duration of all the activities. So this is done by using the activities on the critical path alone. And I made this by using a function called SUMIF. So if the activity is on the critical path, I will include it in the sum, otherwise no. So I calculate this using the range will be the critical path column, and the criteria will be if it equals to 1. If it's not equals to 1, then it's not on the critical path. Then the range to sum is in the T column, that's duration. So that's how you can get this expected duration. Similarly, you can get the variance estimate. Then the part that needs particular attention is the sigma. it needs to be calculated after you have sigma squared to represent the square root of the sigma square, that's variance. So we need to calculate the variance of the entire duration first before we estimate the standard error. And the probabilities has something to do with normal distribution. I calculated these using, oh, interesting, normal distribution. So in Excel, the formula you need to use would be called norm.dist, represent normal distribution. The input you need to get is the quantile and the mean that we just calculated for the entire duration, and the standard deviation we just calculated based on the variance. And we need a cumulative probability. That's how I got the probabilities. And that's it. Please turn in your the worksheet that you graded from another team here on the table. Nope, please keep them.
Wait, did you want the ones that we're working on or not?
Nope, please keep them. Yeah, so for this time, the PERT program, please keep the worksheet to yourself. We are going to use them again next time. Not this one, but the worksheet that you graded.
Oh, I didn't wait. Do we turn it?
Wait, so we don't have to give you this?
Not the PERT one, but the previous one that you graded. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you should be in a team that was grading these.
Oh, I got here late, so I didn't.
Well,
I can like take a picture if I do.
yeah, you should take it back.
Attendance, do we need to write our name down?
Yeah.
Oh, or I already wrote our name down.
Oh, for
Yeah.
For the
yeah,
grade.
graded.
Oh yeah, I didn't write my ID, I forgot.
Oh, you don't
I
need
think you should be
ID.
fine
Name is
without
fine.
ID.
Yeah. What was it?
They had May 6th on it.
I think we'll find one.